First, let me thank you for coming this afternoon and welcome you to the LMOGA House. We're very proud of our office here. It's very special to us, and we appreciate everyone coming out and taking the opportunity to visit with us today. My name is Chris John, and I'm president of Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. We've been around for over 90 years, and we represent really the upstream, downstream, all the sectors of the oil and gas industry, and have done that for many, many years. So we have been around for a while. We've seen a lot, but what we're here today for, I think, is a real monumental moment for not only Louisiana, but for the industry in so many ways. I'm very honored to say that we now have a memorandum of understanding, and we're here today to sign that document. And it's been a process. We started well over a year ago putting this together, and we're here today to start the process, which starts to outline how the public and private partnership between not only our association but the state that will really aim to better equip tomorrow's offshore workers in today's classrooms. And it may sound a little rhetorical, but as you've heard many people say, that today's oil and gas industry is not your mom and dad's oil and gas industry. It is very high tech. It's very safety oriented, and you have to have certain skills. And that was certainly relayed to me as we started this process over a year ago. I want to thank all of our partners. We have met on several occasions over the past year to bring all of the stakeholders, all of the agencies that had a stake in what we were trying to do in the workforce area, and put all of the folks at the table to try to come up with a document that we could be very proud of, and I think we've accomplished that. I want to thank the Louisiana Community and Technical College System. Dr. Sullivan's here. We certainly appreciate them. University of Louisiana Systems, we want to thank you very much for being here, Doc. Fletcher, obviously Fletcher was very key in the Fletcher Technical Community College. They were very key, as was Nichols State. And we have representatives from Nichols and in Morgan City, the South Central Louisiana Technical College, the Louisiana Workforce Commission, and Louisiana Economic Development. Thank you, Don. We appreciate you coming. All of these individuals and individual agencies were a part of coming together to put this memorandum, this MOU, in front of us today. I want to give a special thank you to two individuals. One of them is supposed to be here, and one of them couldn't be with us. But Scott Angel, who really helped us in the very, very beginning of this over a year ago, try to navigate some of the waters as we walk through this. And of course, Camille Conaway. Many of you know Camille. Camille was very instrumental in all of this, because she was the person that we went to and commissioned to do the initial findings of this. The workforce has been a real concern for us and our members as the Gulf has flourished, and the future is very, very bright in the Gulf of Mexico. There are predictions of somewhat of 70 drill ships and rigs out in the Gulf within the next couple of years. That is just incredible when you look at these are billion-dollar facilities and many thousands of people that are shipped and helicoptered each day in and out of the Gulf of Mexico. So the future of the Gulf of Mexico is bright, and our members came to me and said, we are ready to invest. The future's bright. There's lots of hydrocarbons and energy out in the Gulf. But who are we going to hire to be able to run the ships, to have the skills, the technical skills, the computer skills, the maritime skills, to be able to run these billion-dollar operations? And so that's what started the fire on this a long time ago, well, as I said, over a year ago. And many of my companies were not only worried about today, but they were certainly worried about the coming years, because many of you have seen or read about the quote-unquote the big crew change. It's been written about many, many times, and what they are talking about is that there's going to be 40% retirement over the next 10 years of the workforce in the Gulf of Mexico with the skills that are out there today. It's just a matter of fact, and it made a lot of the industry folks very nervous that we had to do something, and we had to do something very quickly. And that's what prompted us to come together and why we are here today. And we acted very quickly, as quickly as you could when you're putting together the kinds of institutions and agencies together. So what did we do? Well, first of all, we had to understand what we had out there. And that's where Camille Conaway came in. We hired Camille to go out and actually find out from not only our members, but from many of the stakeholders who are at the table here today, about what programs are out there, how many programs are out there, what, who does what, and from a curriculum standpoint. So I think that that was one of the first things that Camille had to get her arms around, and it took her 4 months. 4 months of desk research, industry surveys, agency, institution interviews. Thank you very much, all of you who cooperated with Camille to be able to get the kind of data we needed to be able to put together this MOU. And once we were able to put it all together and we felt comfortable that we could move forward, is what's in the document here today. LMOGA is going to play a very key role in bridging the gap between the public sector and in generating some of the solutions that make sense for our industry. It's certainly our hope that this will set into motion a more hand-in-hand approach between the state and the industry to better train a lot of these workers that are really out there, but we need to be able to train them to be able to come straight out of the classroom and onto some of these projects that are out in the Gulf that are very, very good paying positions out in offshore. The state has said that they wanted industry input from the latest technology and practices, and the industry wants the workers ready for one day. So what this MOU does, it aims to accomplish exactly that, is to put the needs of the industry together with the assets that are out in our community college systems and our universities and our economic development, and put them all together and task them. And that's what this MOU does. It has a very specific task for each entity to be able to come up with so we can move forward in years to come. So we're very excited about it. We've made a lot of strides so far. We have a lot of work to do. This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Starting today, we have, I think, an opportunity to build a real network of curriculums and expertise in exploration, production, and of course safety. Obviously, safety is on the mind of all of the oil and gas companies that are operating offshore, and that is an integral and a very important part to our industry to be able to make sure that we recover some of the hydrocarbons in a very safe and environmentally sound way. So we're very excited about it, and I would like to call on a couple of folks for some comments, and then we'll open it up. We'll have a few comments from some individuals. We'll do the signing, and we'll come back for some questions if you don't mind. Now I'd like to call up the Chancellor Earl Metter, Chancellor of Fletcher. Come on up, Dr. Metter. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'd like to begin today by thanking the many people that labored to bring this agreement together. This was, as we said earlier, was not a one-night copy it at the copy machine and sign it agreement. This is complex, what we've done here. It's something special. And it's something special, I think, in the years ahead is going to prove how special this is. And a lot of people work together to do this. Most importantly, I want to thank the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association and your members that support you in your work, because you've been the glue that kind of got everybody together and it got the focus on what it needed to be. And we thank you for that. Very important. Today is an important milestone in our state. But the cooperative agreement we formalized today will impact not just our students, but their families, sons, daughters, our communities, cities, our state, and even our nation. Because we're setting the groundwork for something really special to come, because every person we put to work, what that job does and what that career does impacts multiple people. And that's where we're starting. We're starting with the grassroots, with students. And what that starts to do, and dynamically it moves out. I don't need to spend a lot of time today to talk about the impact or importance of the oil industry in our state. That's something that everybody in this room knows. We don't even need to discuss that. The number of jobs, not just jobs, but careers provided by the industry is phenomenal. Cooperation between the colleges and industry and the training and hiring of workers is not optional. It's a must. There are no options. The needs are beyond all of us. Failure is not an option. And that's really has the approach we have to take. The failure is not optional. We will work this out. We have to. We have no choice. It's a very special time in our future. We must train the workers of tomorrow, today, because the needs are today. Efforts to move on this agreement beyond paper and into action are already taking place. Actually, I spent a good deal of time yesterday with Dr. Bruce Murphy from Nicholls State University, who could not be here today. And we're already planning ways that the two colleges, just a few miles apart, can cooperate. We're talking about sharing of classroom space, instructors, labs, curriculum, whatever it takes. And that's really the ground floor we're starting with the foundation. As we talked about this, it really doesn't matter the label on the door, because it's the community we serve that we're trying to take care of, and the industry that supports those communities. So that's really where we're starting this grassroots effort as we begin to put this together and move it to get it out of the paper stage into action. We're talking about dormitories. Our colleges, our community colleges, we don't have dormitories. Nicholls State University has dormitories. We have labs, much more extensive. So it works for each of us. It's a win-win for our community, and that's what it's about as we grow this effort. We're not stopping with this local cooperation. Discussions are already underway, and I'm actually going to go visit San Juan College in Farmington, New Mexico here in a few weeks. Very large petroleum training organization that trains a lot of people in the western United States. They run about 10,000 students a year through a lot of their short-term training programs. We're going out there to look at some of the things they're doing and see if there's anything we can learn. We're going to share curriculum ideas. We're going to partner together because we're growing an industry. And one of the things we're talking about that's really unique is we're looking at an agreement whereby students would spend their first year in Farmington, New Mexico, out in the drylands, then they're going to come to the coast and they're going to train at Fletcher Technical Community College or Nicholls State University, whatever's appropriate, and they're going to learn the offshore skills and spend their second year down there and go to work, hopefully offshore, and hopefully they're going to become part of our state and our community because now they've invested in it. So it's part of growing the university, growing the workforce, growing the industry as a whole, because if we don't grow the industry as a whole, we're going to be behind. So that's where we got to reach out and be creative. We got to think outside the box a little bit. Our needs go beyond locating and training new workers. We have an existing workforce and must continuously upgrade their skills. So we can't just rest on training new workers. We've got to be ready to train the existing workers as the new technology comes in play, new safety rules, new procedures. The list goes on and on and on, and we need to be ready to train them. So the existing workforce continues to be viable. So they train the next generation of workers. So that's going to be part of the energies we take place and the things and the efforts we do as we get ready to train the existing workforce and the new technology that's going out there. Because what has happened in the offshore industry in the last 10 years will make your head spin. If you've been a worker that's out there watching it, it's just amazing to watch, amazing. As a leader of South Central Louisiana Technical College and Fletcher Technical Community College, my pledge to you is that this is only the beginning of the cooperative efforts. We're just getting started with our neighboring colleges. There's much more to come as we work on this. It's only the beginning of establishing a true model for offshore education training. As we cooperate and move down that path, there's much more to be done in our efforts to train the workforce of tomorrow today. South Central Louisiana Technical College and Fletcher Technical Community College is ready for the challenges ahead. And we will work with our neighbors to do that. We're ready to partner with the communities to grow a skilled workforce from the river to the Gulf as we move forward. We thank the students, families, communities we're privileged to serve, and the members of LMOGA for your support. And in closing, I want to thank our system presidents on behalf of Dr. Murphy and myself. As college leaders without presidents at the system level that give us the support and latitude we need to make these agreements, it would not be possible. So I thank both of you for your innovation and ability to think outside the box and bring these agreements together. Thank you very much.
Frankly, there were a lot of educational institutions and curriculums out there but they were maybe not working hand in hand, and that's what this MOU is going to do. And I appreciate the commitment of the doctor here to help us put it together. Now let me call up the Dean of the University College over at Nichols, Dr. Al Davis. Good. Come on up, Al.
Thank you, Chris. I bring you greetings from Nichols State University, Thibodaux, Louisiana, especially from my president, Bruce T. Murphy, who couldn't be here today, but who believes with all his energy and heart in this project. I would also like to bring you greetings from Dr. Laney Barrio. As all of you know, has done a wonderful job from the inception for this. Dr. Barrio will be retiring soon, and I'll be stepping into her shoes, high heels, but I'll do my best. Also, I bring you greetings from Michael Gautreaux, who is sitting over here. Michael has been responsible for developing a curriculum and for keeping it going at Nichols, a department we call PETSM, Petroleum Engineering Technology and Safety Management, a combination of 2-year degrees and 4-year degrees. Michael, thank you for keeping that program going. We're swelling over there with 450 students, but this initiative today is going to help us get to where we want to be. I'd like to say, first of all, and Earl, you did a good job talking about students and the impact on students that the oil industry has. You're looking at someone whose father worked for Texaco offshore. In fact, he died offshore. He was a pumper for Texaco. The money he earned sent me and a few of, we have 7 children. Those degrees that I've earned is partly because of the industry that we all respect and are nurturing here. If you know me, some of you might know that my background, I'm also the novelist in residence at Nichols, and I enjoy a good story. And when I walked in today, I looked at this beautiful picture here, this story. This picture kind of says it all. 2 systems, 2 great systems, a common purpose, economic workforce, 3 great educational institutions, and at the top of it all, industry partners who decided to get all of this together, LMOGA, and we thank you. So whoever came up with this little art depiction here did a good job. I used to joke with Travis Levine before Travis departed recently. Everybody's retiring, it seems. That Nichols and Fletcher have a relationship that is so close that one day I could envision a walkway between the 2 universities. We're only 10 minutes apart. And as Dr. Sullivan knows, we've extended that walkway. We've recently gotten together with Delgado. This is how it must be. And I think Dr. Sullivan and Dr. Woodley would agree. What most pleases us is that our industry partners took the lead here at the top and got us all together, and that walkway is going to be extended. It sounds like a simple story, a cultural story. Of course, we know the details were not simple. I'm here today to tell you and to pledge and to commit to you that Earl and I are ready. We've got a 40-year program at Nichols ready to go. Fletcher's right down the road. SCLTC is in one person right here. We're ready to go. Thank you all for being here, and I hope you're getting the message about the great things that are about to happen. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Doc. I certainly appreciate that. And yeah, what a great thought, because it's true. You know, how many times has a banner in any venue seen the kind of cooperation that this represents? So that kind of says it all. So thank you very much. A couple of closing thoughts. You know, Dr. Davis said, you know, these things just don't happen, and we had to have a referee and someone who could kind of put all the pieces together and call the meetings and put everything on paper, and that was certainly the person that works at LMOGA. And Brent Gallagher, who's our manager of governmental affairs, was our point person in LMOGA that had to keep rounding up the cats day in and day out during that. So Brent, thank you very much for all of your effort in putting this together. And finally, closing thought, you know, you don't put these kind of efforts together without a bigger picture or a dream or a vision. And certainly it is our industry, it's LMOGA's vision that this is the start of something bigger than just a Nichols, Fletcher, UL, South Louisiana, in Morgan City, South Central. We would love to see this start off as it has today, but become a global training center for all of the offshore workers that from all over. I could see, you know, and this is not a precedent. You know, if you wanted to be trained to go and be a worker in the automobile industry, you know, and you go to Detroit, and they have a system up in Detroit that trains you how to make cars and be a technician in the cars. No matter where you're from, if you wanted to work in the automobile industry, you had to go up there to get trained. That is our vision. That is my vision, to be able to make this a global center for training, where if you're going to be offshore in the North Sea, hopefully in the Atlantic and the Pacific soon, then you will come to Terrebonne, Lafourche Parish area in South Louisiana to get trained on those rigs around the world. So with that, I would like to ask everyone to join us at the table. A very exciting time. It's brought together the Louisiana Community Technical College systems, the Nichols State, Fletcher Community College, UL, to come together with one important goal, is to come up with a 2-year curriculum that can serve the oil and gas industry. As we're all aware, the Gulf of Mexico is the fastest growing offshore production and exploration and production in the world. And that's only going to get more and more productive over the next few years. And we don't have a workforce in place today to be able to take care of it. So what we are trying to do at LMOGA is to get ahead of that and to bring all of the stakeholders, all the entities and agencies that have a stake in workforce development, to be able to train these workers, integrate their particular curriculums, and get them out, in and out, so we can start to service these drill ships, these billion-dollar operations that are going to be going on out in the Gulf over the next 5 to 6 years.
What is the outlook in terms of jobs that could be available, and what type of wages do they pay?
Well, of course, these are very good wages. According to the Dr. Scott study that was just released just recently, these jobs are double and triple over the normal manufacturing onshore jobs of these folks. So they're talking in the motto was 2 years, $60,000, and I think that's a pretty close estimate of what you can expect if you get your certificate of 2 years and want to go work offshore.
What's your reaction to everything that you've seen and heard here today?
Well, I'm very excited about it because, so many times you have turf battles and dollar battles over different institutions, agencies, and all. What we have done here today, I think, is monumental. I think we have put together in one room all of the stakeholders, all of the people that have the keys to success for workforce development, all willing to throw on the table what they do, and we're trying as Mid-Continent to integrate that to speed up the training of these workers that are so desperately needed in the Gulf.
Well, we're excited about the potential to collaborate with our friends in the community college and in the oil and gas industry. There's such a great need for these jobs and these careers, and the collaboration is exciting.
What type of potential do you see?
Well, I think there's huge potential. I mean, as was mentioned in the press conference today, there's so much demand and growing demand for these jobs. And so being able to ramp up our production in these areas, and more importantly, to collaborate with business and industry to understand what they need and to adapt our curriculum to their needs, is what Louisiana needs, and we're excited to be part of that partnership.
This potential is substantial in the fact that it brings together industry partners with the higher education entities who provide that workforce for a an industry that is so very critical to Louisiana and to the success of our economy. We certainly see a time when institutions are able to target resources more specifically to programs that are in highest need, working directly with industry partners who can help to inform curriculum decisions, equipment purchases, the kind of infrastructure necessary to increase productivity of a workforce for Louisiana.
Your reaction to everything that you've seen and heard here today?
Excitement is probably the most appropriate word. We have lots of opportunities to work with lots of folks in different sectors, and I tell you, the oil and gas industry is one that has been one of our greatest partners from the beginning of our community and technical college system. We're so very thankful for their involvement and their interest and their excitement for this effort.
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
They can certainly go to our website, www.lmoga.com. There's a wealth of information there, or they can call our office here, and we have lots of information as this MOU gets signed today and we start to move down the road.